So this morning we will be reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 9, the passing away of Vishmadev, text 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Naram Cheva Narottanam
Narottama
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jamudirayat
Ayamudiraye
Nastabesya Bhadrasya Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Vidamasoke
Bhakti Bhakti Naistike
Bhakti Bhakti Nashistini
Nahi Yasya Karichitrajan
Naryasya Karchit Rajan
Nayasya Karichitrajan
Naryasya Karchit Rajan
Uman Veda Vidichitam
Man Veda Viditsitam
Yat Vichina Saya Yukta
Yat Vichindasya Yukta
Moyanti Kavayopihi
Muyanti Gravayovi
Nahi Yasya Karichitrajan
Naryasya Karchit Rajan
Uman Veda Vidichitam
Man Veda Viditsitam
Yat Vichihya Saya Yukta Muyanti Kavayopihi Nayasya Karichitrajan
Nagasya Karchitrajan
Uman Veda Vidichitam
Man Veda Viditsitam
Yat Vichihya Saya Yukta
Yad Vijigyasaya Yukta
Muyanti Kavayopihi
Yanti Kavayopi Nagasya Karchitrajan
Nayasya Karichitrajan
Man Veda Viditsitam
Uman Veda Vidichitam
Yad Vijigyasaya Yukta
Yat Vichihya Saya Yukta
Yanti Kavayopi
Muyanti Kavayopihi
Nagasya Karchitrajan
Nayasya Karichitrajan
Uman Veda Viditsitam
Uman Veda Vidichitam
Yad Vijigyasaya Yukta
Yat Vichina Yukta
Muyanti Kavayopi
Muyanti Kavayopihi. Nice. Not at all. Okay. Word for word translation. Na. Never. He. Certainly. Asya. His. Karichit. Whatsoever. Rajan. O king. Puman. Anyone. Veda. Knows. Vidichitam. Plan. Yat. Which. Vichinasaya. Without exhaustive inquiries. Yukta. Being engaged. Muyanti. Bewildered. Kavaya. Great philosophers. Api,
Api,
even,
even,
he, certainly.
certainly.
Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Please repeat. O King,
Okay,
no one can know the plan of the Lord
no one can know the plan of the Lord,
Sri Krishna.
Krishna,
Even though
even though
great philosophers
great philosophers
inquire exhaustively,
inquire exhaustively.
they are bewildered.
They are bewildered.
Purport. The bewilderment of Maharaj Yudhishthir over his past sinful acts and the resultant sufferings, etc., is completely negated by the great authority Bhishma, one of the 12 authorized persons. Bhishma wanted to impress upon Maharaj Yudhishthir that since time immemorial, no one, including such demigods as Shiva and Brahma, could ascertain the real plan of the Lord. So what can we understand about it? It is useless also to inquire about it. Even the exhaustive philosophical inquiries of sages cannot ascertain the plan of the Lord. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument. The sufferings of the Pandavas were never due to their past deeds. The Lord had to execute the plan of establishing the kingdom of virtue, and therefore his own devotees suffered temporarily in order to establish the conquest of virtue. Bhishmadev was certainly satisfied by seeing the triumph of virtue, and he was glad to see King Yudhishthir on the throne, although he himself fought against him. Even a great fighter like Bhishma could not win the battle of Kurukshetra because the Lord wanted to show that vice cannot conquer virtue, regardless of who tries to execute it. Bhishmadev was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against the Pandavas by the will of the Lord. That he wanted to show that a fighter like Krishna cannot win on the wrong side. The verse again. Nahi asya karchitra jantuman veda vidichitam yad vichikyasaya yukta moyanti kavayopihi. O King, no one can know the plan of Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Om Ajnanatimannasya Janansana Snakam Shakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupakadamyam Dadanti Svam Padantikam Vandeham Shigo Shiyuda Padkamanam Shigom Vaishnavam Snam Shri Upam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sativam Satvaitam Savadutam Paritana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Chatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sutta Devi Pranamama Hare Priye Pakha Kalpta Vishak Kripasana Bevasha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhuttam. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Vacharani Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskachari Srila Prabhupada. So Krishna is a most complex person to understand. But and there are different reasons why we cannot understand Krishna. Krishna complains in Bhagavad Gita in many verses that, like in 7:13, Tribeguna Mayer Bhaver Ebi Sarvam Idam Jarat Moitam Namijanati Mamepya Param Afyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, Krishna says, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. But also in the beginning of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that yes, 10th chapter, okay, text 6, that no, it's before text. Yeah. Name vidusharagana parvam namarsya amadiri deva namarshinam susarvasa. This text 2 of chapter 10. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my original opulence, for in every aspect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Also the demigods and the sages cannot understand that. But Bhishma Devya says that no one can know the plan of the Lord. Krishna and even the great philosophers inquire, they are bewildered. So many misunderstand Krishna. That Krishna is often blamed for so many things. That some say Arjuna became a pacifist, and he gave so many good reasons why to become a pacifist. But Krishna gave better reasons to fight. And but many are not appreciating it, don't understand it, that the higher principles of religion, that even Balaram was bewildered in the past time of after Brahma took away all the cowherd boys and all the calves, that at that moment Krishna expanded himself in all the cowherd boys and the cows, and they went back to Vrindavan. And so Balaram became bewildered. He could not understand that all these cowherd boys were expansions of Krishna. And all these calves were expansions of Krishna. And he observed that the cows had 10 more affection for their offspring than before. And I was wondering what's wrong here. But finally, Krishna revealed his covering a bit, and Balaram could understand that. But even his first expansion, Balaram, is bewildered. So what to say about us? That, but yes, that the point made here is who can know the plan of the Lord? The Pandavas were suffering so much. And it is said here, they cannot have karma. Dharmaraj was the most virtuous person. So no karma. Or at least by their devotional service, their karma was eradicated. Still, they were suffering. So we see sometimes, and this is a very important aspect here, that even though devotee's karma may be eradicated completely, still the devotee suffers. And one may question, why is the devotee still suffering? Your karma may be eradicated, but your desires may not be completely pure. And then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ananta Sintayantamam Yechana Payapasi Tesam Nityabhyaktyam Yogakshena Pamya. I give my devotee what he needs for spiritual advancement, and I protect him. I protect his Krishna consciousness he has developed. So Krishna gives us what we need. He gives because although our heart may be purified from all karma, there may still some residue, some attraction for sense gratification. And therefore, Krishna arranges for us to suffer, so that we can give up the material world altogether. Because to enter the spiritual world, yes, free from karma is one aspect, but one must have pure desires to serve Krishna. As long as there is a desire for sense gratification, we can not go back to Godhead. Of course, a devotee as Srila Prabhupada, if we are 90% pure, will Krishna accept us? And Prabhupada said yes. And then the devotee asked, and 85%. Prabhupada said yes, but he would not go lower than 80%. Because we see from the Bhagavatam examples of that. When Lord Ram was wandering to the forest of Dandakaranya, there were these rishis, the Munichari rishis. And they wanted with Lord Ram a relationship in conjugal love. But Lord Ram said it's not possible in my incarnation. Eka Patni, one wife, one queen. But he said to the sage of Dandakaranya, I will come back at the end of Dwapara Yuga as Krishna. And then you can have that relationship with me. And all the sages of Dandakaranya, they took birth in Krishna's pastime as a Munichari gopis. But they were not yet 100% pure. But they were further trained up by the Nitya Siddha gopis, the perfected devotees coming from the spiritual world. And they were further trained up and when Krishna at the rasa dance These Munichari gopis, they could not go, and they were stopped by their husband. And but by their desire was so intense that to see Krishna, that it burnt away every residue of material desire, and they became 100% pure. And then 1 year later, they could take part in rasa dance. So yes, it means if we are not 100% pure, no problem. We will take birth in Krishna's pastimes, and be trained up further. But that is already considered a spiritual birth. So that we learn from the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. But yes, but still we suffer. Even if we are free from karma, we suffer too. So that Krishna is teaching us to purify us completely. It helps us. And that is how we see suffering. Is Krishna helping us to purify ourselves. We have this verse, of course, that Tena Kampamsa Susamikshmano Vajana Ivatere Vipakam Favorotir Vidada Namaste Jivetio Mukti Padesh Dayabhag. Tena Kampamsa Mikshmano Vajana Ivatere Vipakam Favorotir Vidada Namaste Jivetio Mukti Padesh Dayabhag. So a devotee accepts suffering as Krishna's mercy. The suffering he knows is due to my past misdeeds. And Krishna is so kind to give me only a token of the suffering. And the verse says, if one has that attitude, one is ready for liberation. And so it is many times we go up and down in devotional service, but we should never give up chanting, never give up devotional service. We must, but that's our duty of devotee. There may be so many reversals, but the devotee must stay alive in Krishna consciousness, must tolerate all these reverses. And when he can do that, he's ready to go back to Godhead. So yeah, in Nectar of Devotion it is said, advancement in devotional service depends on the devotee's attitude. That attitude, that means, is desire. His attitude towards suffering is always, it's my fault. We saw in Vaikuntha, at the gate of Vaikuntha, when the 4 Kumaras cursed Jai and Vijay, Lord Narayan came to the gate and said to the Brahmins, to the 4 Kumaras, that so it's my fault, Lord Narayan. These are my servants and they made this error. It's my fault, Lord Narayan says. In the material world, if something goes wrong, everyone says, no, it's not my fault, it's the other. In the spiritual world, something goes wrong, everyone says it's my fault. That's quite a different attitude. So means the devotee's attitude So whatever suffering comes, the devotee sees as Krishna's mercy. That it's Lord Krishna is purifying my heart. Is taking away my inclination to enjoy this material world. That we see, like Prahlad Maharaj, he was tortured in so many ways, that so much suffering. Of course, he was protected by the Lord in all situations. That you see here, another point made here in the purport here is, yes, you can't win when you are on the wrong side. That so Bhishma Dev was fighting on the other side. That why? Because Lord Krishna wanted that he would fight at the wrong side to show that if you are at the wrong side, you will never be able to be successful. That so he used Bhishma Dev to show this, that through his pastimes in his devotees performs a drama to teach us that it's like the mother teaches the daughter-in-law by rectifying the daughter. It's a bit like that. It's using his devotees to teach us that. But this is an important aspect of our devotional service. This learning to tolerate, but always be determined to cause the ocean of material suffering. Etam sastaya paratmanistam vyasam. Yeah. Tam sastaya paratmanistam vyasam. Purvatamaya akshiri. Antai sanktuant pram tamam bandanga. Mukandagini seva seva. This is a verse from the Buddha Gita. Etam sastaya paratmanistam vyasam purvam tamam akshiri. It's called the sannyas verse. And in this verse, the Avanti Brahman prays to the Lord, to the Supreme Lord Mukunda, and that he will tolerate everything to surmount this to surmount this unsurpassable ocean of material suffering and take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So that's the determination of a pure devotee, that tolerating everything. But I have the determination to cause this ocean of material suffering. That Avanti Brahman had to suffer so many things because of his past misdeeds. That he was abused in so many ways, but still he was determined to take shelter of Krishna. So we see also devotees are performing so much sacrifice. They join this movement. Some have given up their education, some their family have given up their family just for the service of in the mission of Prabhupada. That they endured so much that and also the Pandavas, they are helping to unfold the plan of the Lord. And they have sacrificed so much that the Lord wanted to show their virtue, that there are so many different philosophies and religions who have different definition of virtue. But virtue for us means that we are engaging in the occupational duty of the spirit soul, which is devotional service. That's before in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 8 to 12, all these qualities of an advanced devotee are mentioned, starting with humility. And that Prabhupada writes in the purport, of these 21 qualities, the most important is devotional service. By devotional service, all the other qualities develop. So yes, so no one can ascertain the plan of the Lord, and that Krishna, it's too complex, we cannot understand. Prabhupada advised in the purport, he says, it's useless to inquire about it. We cannot understand that it's better just to go with the plan of the Lord without any argument, he said. So it's useless to dwell on it. We cannot understand. We can understand something, maybe. Krishna says, Yadaya Daya Dharmasya Klane Bhakta Bharata Bhuta Nama Dharmasya Tatatman Chichamnam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious principle, I come to establish these religious principles. And then, of course, it comes to protect the devotees. And annihilate the demons. These are general principles that we can understand that Krishna is his plan in that sense. But all these details, we cannot understand. That the whole pastime of Kurukshetra, the whole history of the Mahabharata, that Krishna's plan, Kandari understood something. They understood that Krishna is orchestrating the plan. He's the director who writes the script. And she cursed him. He said, you are responsible for the battle of Kurukshetra. You are responsible for the killing of my sons. Therefore I curse you that also your dynasty, the other dynasty, will vanish. And Krishna said, yes. Krishna was saying, thank you. I was just wondering, how am I going to remove these shadows from the earth? Because they are as powerful as Krishna. If Krishna disappears, they would cause havoc that nobody could conquer them. So yes, of course, he was cursed. But that was also Krishna rage. Krishna inspired Gandhari to curse him. So that it's so complex, the whole plan. We see so many great personalities, but they have all their history in previous lives. Krishna gives reactions from their previous life in this life. It does so many things at the same time. Of course, when Krishna was there, everyone who saw Krishna on the battlefield was liberated. of that past karma. That was, yeah, that, like, well, it's very bewildering, not, yes, Jayan and Vijay, they appear as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakasipu, as Ravan, Kumbhakarna, that, and as Shishupal, Shishupal and Dandavaka. That, so externally they look demons, but factually they are pure devotees from Vaikuntha who come to give Krishna a good fight. But we, of course, we learn from all these lessons of these pastimes that they come to perform the drama. When the Yadu dynasty was annihilated, then we were at the end of the 10th canto, beginning of the 11th canto, when we had the Bhakti Vedanta course at the VHG with Bhujamba. Bhujamba Guru said, yes, Krishna's pastimes are over. And it's like a traveling road show that they have done the show in one place, they break up and they go to the next place. So after the show is over, all the actors, they remove their costumes and they go to the next place to perform the same drama. So Krishna's pastimes are ended, and he goes to them, and everyone takes up their customs, leaves their body, so-called, and they go to the next universe to perform the same drama, if some variants. So Krishna continuously in someone, even now his pastimes are going on in some universe. And this is the service of Arjuna. He has to travel with him, and every time Arjuna has to facilitate the speaking of Bhagavad Gita. Because that's also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Arjuna, yes, that so many thousands years ago, I spoke this Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, Sundar, and you were also there, but you forgot, because you are leaving your body, that you change body. And therefore you forget, but I don't forget, I'm different. So in the Prabhupada writes, yes, Arjuna, when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, Arjuna was also there, but in another capacity. If you go to the sun with this body, that will not be possible. You need a body of fire. So Arjuna was also there. It means Arjuna is an eternal associate with Krishna, who travels with him. And also the Pandavas. Because little further here in this first canto, we have the story of the Pandavas leaving this world. Krishna is left them. They start all walking to the Himalayas. And one after other they fall down, leaving their bodies, but Yudhishthira Maharaj is able to go up to the Himalayas, to the top, and he's on the way, there's a dog who takes shelter of him, and the dog follows him. And on the top of the Himalayas, somewhere, the demigods are waiting with a chariot to bring Yudhishthira to heaven. And So the servants of Indra are asking, please, board the Viman. We are going to, and Ulysses said, no, this dog has taken shelter of me. If I go, this dog must also go. So it was so virtuous that the shelter he has to give shelter, and he was giving shelter. But then it appears that this dog was Lord Shiva who was testing this. He goes to heaven, he arrives in heaven, and he asks, where are the Pandavas? He sees Duryodhana and Dronacharya drinking somaras or whatever they do there, enjoying in heaven. And he asks, where is the Pandavas? And someone tells him, oh, the Pandavas, they are not to hell. They went to hell. So they went to hell for a few moments, for small little things they did, whatever. And finally they came back to heaven, and they saw all these enjoyments. And they said to Lord Krishna, this is not a place for us. Krishna said, yes, let's go to the next universe, next mission. So they were eternal associates, Krishna. But to understand Krishna's pastimes is not possible for us, Vishmadev says. But it's our duty to understand Krishna to some extent. We must know Krishna's position and understand it rightly. Krishna says, Ansavasya Prabhu Matasarvam. I'm the source of all material and spiritual worlds. We must have that right. Knowing who Krishna is, that because that there is a lot of confusion about it, about what is the absolute truth. Vedanta tattva vidas tattvankayam atvam prameti paramatmati paramatiti subsubjecting. That Brahman, something, the absolute is Brahman, that the Brahmavadis, Mayavadis also, they think Brahman is the thing, that, and the Paramatma is the yogis think Paramatma is the absolute truth. But the learned Vedantist says it's all the absolute truth. But the qualities of the absolute truth are partially manifest as Brahman, that is Sat, the eternal aspect. And then Paramatma is Sat, Chit, knowledge, some knowledge. Krishna is there as Paramatma, controls material nature. But the full realization is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ananda is spiritual happiness. With connecting with Brahman, you cannot get this Ananda. You can get peace, that's nice. But not Ananda. That by Paramatma realization, it's nice, but Krishna is a controller. You have that realization. What happens then? You stay in the material world, that's all. Nothing is going to happen. Unless one understands that Paramatma is an expansion of Krishna. And then Bhagavan realization. Bhagavan realization means realizing that Krishna is the object of our love, and giving our love to Krishna. And what is the condition to go back to the spiritual world? You can only go back to the spiritual world if you develop love for Krishna. If you have Bhagavan realization. That Brahman realization is a temporal situation in Brahman, that's between the spiritual world and the material world. But what is the problem with Brahman? It's very peaceful there, super peaceful. But it's boring, nothing to do. The soul cannot be inactive, Krishna says in Bhagavad. We want activity. So to that extent, we must understand Krishna. But understand his pastimes. You can understand something, but his plan, no. Nobody understands Krishna's plan, Vishmadev says. And this is important to understand that we cannot understand his plan. And therefore, but we accept his plan. And we try our best to cooperate with his mission, that whatever suffering comes or pleasure, the devotee is not concerned with that. Is concerned with pleasing Krishna. So it's useless to inquire about it. So Krishnadev says to you this is Krishna's plan. That if Krishna brings you on the throne, you have to do the service. That do your service for Krishna. That it's useless to ponder about it. That because Yudhishthira and the whole idea, and the old battle of Kurukshetra has been fought to bring me on the throne. I'm going to suffer to suffer from that. But Vishmadev is completely neglecting his thoughts. He says, no, that it's useless to inquire about it. You do your duty. Anyway, any comments, questions? Yes.
You think in our thoughts. Thinking about this dynamic about how you were saying that when we can tolerate and you're steady in that Krishna consciousness, then that's a sign that we're ready back to the spiritual world. And it's understood that this world is not a place for enjoyment. And we want to be like the Hanavas, be the heavenly planets, so not feel comfortable there, I want to go on to the next missions. The Lord, then we see in one personality after another, Pandavas, you mentioned Prahlad, the list goes on in the Bhagavatam, Bhishma, they all go through suffering. Like, is there anybody that doesn't go through suffering? As they're trying to become Krishna consciousness. So my question is, are we to expect that, in order to become Krishna conscious, we must suffer? We must suffer, we must go through some terrible suffering, and that's just the way it is. Because it seems to be the example is always there, repeat again and again.
That To understand this, one must understand the dynamics of suffering. What is suffering? That suffering, let's put it different, that who is suffering? Experience of suffering is coming in the mind. We are not the mind. So are we the suffering of the mind? No. The more we identify with our false ego, through the false ego, the more we identify with the mind, the more we will suffer. And that, yes, that. So it means the more we become detached from this world and attached to Krishna, less suffering. That, I tell you a story. I don't really want to speak about myself, but I was, when I started to chant Hare Krishna, that suddenly my wife got in a relationship with someone else. And soon I was divorced. I didn't want that, but it happened. Nothing I could do against that. But I had separation from 2 children. It's heavy. But I was so deeply engaged in devotional service that that this period, which is meant, to be a period with extreme suffering, it was the most happy time of my life. So this absorption in Krishna consciousness makes you aloof. You don't care for the suffering. It's all in the mind. Because you are so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that you transcend this suffering. So the more we become Krishna conscious, the more we transcend. Because factually, the soul cannot suffer. It's due to our idea that we are the body. That's false ego. And false ego is a result of the contamination of the mind and the intelligence. We purify our intelligence by hearing about Krishna. And we purify the mind by non-mana, thinking of Krishna, concentrating on the holy name, and so on. And the more we become purified, the more the false ego goes. Especially when you become older in Krishna consciousness. I don't know if you have that, but I always think, because I'm traveling a lot, trying to give everything. I try to keep my balance, but I can have a heart attack every moment. Every day I think, oh, another day. Thank you, Krishna. Every day we can go. And what with this suffering? After you die, what with your suffering? It's all gone. Suffering and pleasure. And the devotee becomes callous towards it. Becomes out. In the Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one comes out of the forest of delusion. And that is what we need. We need to endeavor to come out and take shelter of Krishna. And then we suffer less. It's a hard lesson to learn, but we have to learn the lesson. Once we have learned the lesson, that's what Prabhupada says. One devotee asked, will Krishna test us? Prabhupada said, yes. And then the devotee asks, will the suffering become more and more severe? Papa said, no, once you pass the test, you pass the test. We have to pass the test and become callous to all these things that so many issues. Soon it's all over. The story is over. So it's also important that don't take the mind serious. All these things are not serious. But we are so absorbed in the mind. It's like someone goes to the film and the cinema and one sees on the screen and an accident happened and people start to cry on the screen and half of the people in the hall they also start to cry because they are emotionally connected with it. But it's only some light on the screen. It's nothing. But everyone, because they are emotionally connected, so we become emotionally connected with this mind. That's me. And you suffer like anything. But this mind is an instrument you have to use. Just engage in Krishna consciousness. And neglect all these things. But you need spiritual power to come to that point. And that's the power of devotional service. So it's chanting, this devotional service is very powerful. Does that help?
Yeah.
Good. Something else? No questions on the internet? No.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. I just wanted to know something about unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Yeah, the word says this itself. Don't put forward conditions. That we love Krishna out of love without asking something in return. That not asking liberation, nothing. Many see Krishna as their order supplier, praying to Krishna for so many things in this material world to solve all their troubles. But that's conditional. It's business. Pure love is different. That understanding the difference between pure love and lust. It's in the 4th chapter, I think, of the Madhya Lila. Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj spends a whole chapter explaining what love means. Pure love. It's not easy to learn, not easy to understand also. But if we become pure, the more we become pure, the more we start to understand. That Krishna Das Kaviraj said to understand the love between Radha and Krishna, one must be situated in Vishuddha Sattva, otherwise one cannot even begin to understand it. Vishuddha Sattva is after liberation. So, unconditional love for Krishna is the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Antya-lila. That is ecstasy in the mood of Srimad Radharani. That's beyond the reach of our understanding. At least nothing I can say about it. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Good. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki